Hello everyone, so welcome back to another video. I was going to do this with audio, but it didn't work out as well, and it was kind of annoying me. I think a lot of things have been annoying me recently with this update, but I'll tell you exactly what's going on with the core at the moment. So, we're looking at a small section of a demo, what I want the core to kind of look like. The full lighting and rendering isn't on at the moment. It normally has like all the crazy detail and everything else, and it makes it look pretty nice. And I want the core to be kind of like that. There's just sort of an impression while also getting the materials cool and just trying to give people a good idea and give myself an idea of how I want the scene to kind of look. And then I was like, okay, I'll try doing all of this. And I started out in a couple of different ways. I started out trying to do the area around the elevator first. Didn't work. Then I started thinking, you know what, maybe I can do this room. Didn't work. And I ended up going all the way over here. As you can see, there's a lot more work that's been done now. But I ended up working from this end, primarily because it was its own area that seemed to have more defined walls and everything else going on. And I'm just like, okay, I'll model the floor, I'll model the walls around the elevator, and we'll just go from there. I get a bit of the shape, and I started getting the shape and went over to here. Just turn wireframe on for a moment. And then when I eventually got to the middle platform, I was just like, go on, I'll start blocking things out. I'll start actually trying to have a go at this. And a lot of people will tell you, and quite a few have told me as well, that again, translating 2D sprites into 3D is pretty hard. You have to do a little bit of guesswork, use your imagination a little bit. And what was happening was I was just blocking things out and trying to come up with rules that would work. Like, for instance, certain types of bevels on surfaces. So, like, matching up the bevels here with the sprite work, we've got like a 0.2 bevel here, but then on the larger walls we have a 0.4, and then that just helps break it up a bit and make it look a little bit different. And the reason why all this even matters is because it was just so awkward coming up with this block out, and I think mainly it's because I was going through the whole process of trying to think of just how unique this would look with my own, like meshes and everything else on it in 3D compared to the more accurate sprite work versions. And I'm thinking about all these other different ideas that I've said I wanted to implement and stuff, and they're all going round in my head. And I'm also stressing out about um, like how I'm going to do certain things and just how much is going into this update so far. And by that I mean the entire core update, where I'm going to be showing off massive amounts of the underground that are going to be completed and new characters and everything. And it's just so much work. And I think I was taking it a little bit for granted originally, just being like, oh yeah, these areas are fine, I've got them done. And then I get up to this bit where there's not too much in terms of like documented 3D sort of like attempts from other people at it. And one of the main ones that I looked at ages ago, I actually lost the reference for and can't find it again, which sucked. And then I'm looking through like other artwork, and the artwork's staying pretty faithful to the sprites and not giving me much to work with in terms of like interpretation or ways to interpret things differently. So it was being a massive pain in the butt, and it ended up with me just brute forcing it like this and just being like, right, I'll just keep going, I'll keep going, and just joining shapes together and trying to make everything look good and try and get the blocking done first with the bevels and everything being the exception, and then after that, then I can start iterating on it and adding all these crazy details like a ton of pipes and other things. And oh god, it's just been terrible. Like now I'm working my way back to the start here, and then I can get rid of this this demo scene, and we can go again and hopefully do this and it'll be easy, but it's just, for the moment, it's nice to be able to like go in first person and then be like, okay, I'm getting an idea of how this is going to look in 3D space, but obviously I'm going to be building up the roof and making it bigger, and obviously we're going to have some bottomless looking pits over the edges, and the same for like most of this, but it's just nice being able to kind of walk through this area in 3D finally and be like, okay, I think we're getting there. I think we're getting there. And then trying to come up with ideas as to how I'm going to make these walls and the way that they connect above not look so blocky. Um, just trying to open up certain areas to make them look a little bit more interesting, or at least give me room to make them look interesting. Then we've got into the maze area here, and it's again, it's just. I know this is going to sound so stupid to some people that just gonna be like, dude, you could have just blocked this out in like 2 seconds. But one of the other major issues I had, or rather I still have, is trying to transfer all these details. You see, at the moment, what's doing this is it's a small demo scene where I've deliberately curated meshes for certain sections of like the wall or the floor or the lights and everything. The different, I suppose you could say, the different modular meshes, but the way that I've put them across like walls and everything is just by using arrays. Now, for somebody who doesn't know what an array is, essentially you just put one model into a list of sorts or a counter, and then you just tell it like, oh yeah, I want 10 of this model on this axis or in this direction, and it just does it for you. But what I've been looking at is trying to automate that by having geometry nodes do that for me, and that is another part of the process that's been frustrating, because you'll have heard me mention geometry nodes before if you've been keeping up with a lot of these updates. I use geometry nodes basically because they're almost like black magic when it comes to distributing things procedurally or randomly. Um, basically, I've used them in places for like distributing flowers in a seemingly random pattern, or doing the same with like rocks or other things, just to help save a little bit of time. Because if this was like 10 years ago or more, I'd be placing every bit of individual scenery by hand. That was an absolute nightmare to do back in the day. So trying to save as much time as I can and not do that is always a thing. And I'm sat here thinking, okay, I'll look at geometry nodes and try and make it so I can just draw like lines in certain directions, and it'll just put the scenery along a wall. Or maybe I can just like copy some of this wall section and then tell it, you know what, along this section I just want that scenery to be placed in this sort of direction or this orientation. So it's all done pretty much automatically for me, and trying to work that out the past couple of days has resulted in massive amounts of slowdown, because I'll be experimenting and following one person's tutorial and that won't work as expected, but it will in the video, and then I'll be going around and looking at other different people's videos and trying to follow theirs and see whether that works. And that's been stressing me out as well, because I've been thinking to myself, you know what, this area should be kind of easy to do, because it's kind of blocky compared to some of the other areas, um, especially areas like Snowdin and Heartland. But it's not going as smooth as I would like it. So yeah, it's just being one giant pain in the butt at the moment. But at least now we're kind of getting there to the almost finished block out stage, where I can just turn around and be like, okay, here's where we're iterating, here's where we're adding like different rooms or different elevation and things like that, just to make it look a lot better. I'm so happy now, but it's all these things building up really stress you out a lot. And I think that I don't do enough of these videos where I actually explain just a little bit more about the behind the scenes and how I feel. Like, this is why I've not streamed for the past like couple of days, because normally I stream development. But when I get really frustrated and I feel like I can't go anywhere, and again I'm hitting like a brick wall essentially in development, I don't like showing that on stream because even though there are people there that will support me, and I really enjoy that, I it it almost felt like I just wanted to try and get my head down and try and do this without the added pressure of doing streams as well, because you obviously have to either be entertaining or be explaining things, talking to people, and trust me when I say this has just been so annoying to me. I've just not wanted to talk. Essentially, I've just been like, no, no, I'll do this. I'll do this. I'll just get this done. It's totally fine. We're good. And it's not nice. I don't like being frustrated and smashing my head against a brick wall while trying to figure stuff out and it not working, and then me just being like, ah, it doesn't make for a good stream either. So yeah, I'll stop yapping anyway. That's how the call's going so far. I expect to see another update and maybe some streams soon where I'm iterating on this. As soon as I can just get it into a little bit more of a decent state with the elevator shaft done, and then we can start working on like the vertical, the pits, um, and then trying to fill all this in with the same scenery and textures that are on here. But what I'm going to do is for the rest of tonight, I'm going to try seeing if again for like just a little bit I can try doing this automated geometry node setup that'll help me just put all the scenery all over the walls, and then hopefully I won't have a complete nightmare having to do it all by hand. So, thank you very much, everyone. Hope you enjoyed this, and I'm sorry if it sounds like such a rant or whatever. But yeah, hopefully you'll enjoy this when it's done, and I shall see you on the next video. So until then, thank you very much. Bye!